What's up, folks? Bright Evangelist here. Welcome to Win Souls TV. Comment, like, subscribe, do all of that stuff. But one of the main topics that the Lord wants me to talk about today is worrying. You know, all of us have done it, especially, you know, when you have kids or, you know, this, that, and the other, or when there seems like there's a task that needs to be done and we don't necessarily know how to get it done, right? We begin to worry because we place a lot of that task on ourselves, right? So there, with anything that you are trying to accomplish with the Lord or anything in your life, all of it, you know, of course, all of it is centered around the Lord, whether you realize it or not. But we always have to go back to the foundation, right? So when you build a house, you don't start with the roof. You start with the foundation. Then you can build as many rooms, as many doors, as many windows, as many whatever you want in the house as you want, you know. But you always have to go back to the foundation. And so the reason that I say that is because you have to find out why you are worrying. Why you are worrying. When you ask yourself why, what is it that I'm feeling? What is it that is hindering me from moving forward in peace? You have to go back to the root. You have to go back to the foundation. And all roots always lead back to God. All roots always lead back to God because God is the true foundation. And when I say God, I mean Jesus. Anyway, so once you ask yourself why, there are a couple of things that will get in our way from not worrying. And one of those things is trust. Trust. So you have to ask yourself immediately, okay, am I trusting the Lord on this? You see what I'm saying? Why am I worrying? Am I worrying simply because, and I can't move forward out of this worry simply because I'm trying to foist all of the issue, all of the problem upon myself rather than foisting it upon God? And how do you trust? Because it is impossible to please God without faith. And I say that simply because you stop worrying and you move forward without worry and in peace through faith. And how do you do that? Well, it starts in baby steps. It starts in baby steps. I told you guys, you know, the story about when I was in college. I never really trusted the Lord. I mean, I only trusted my own work ethic. So with that said, when it got to the point where I got so broken down to the point where I couldn't even rely on myself, then I was just like, okay, well, let me try this whole praying thing, you know. And so with that, every single time that I would pray over a specific assignment that I simply just could not do, weird things started happening. There would be people that would approach me that I had never seen before. And I don't know, they could have been angels. I never found that out for sure. And then there would be people in groups, study groups, that would just come up to me every single time that I prayed, or every time that I would pray over a specific assignment. It would always be 2 days out or like the night before when somebody would approach me, and they would always talk about the assignment. Oh, well, hey, you know, you need to get this assignment done. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't even know you, you know. And immediately we would go. They would help me out with the assignment and sometimes even do the assignment for me, which was really weird. And I would leave, and it was just kind of like, you know, this is so weird to me because, I mean, that's just foreign, you know. We live in a world where it's just like, oh, no, you know, hard work always does this, hard work always does that. It's in commercials, it's on TV, it's on movies, it's everywhere. You see what I'm saying? You survive and you're successful based off of you. No, you're not. You're not. And don't allow yourself to be broken down in order to find that out. But anyway, so you begin to trust him in baby steps. How do you do that? So one of the first things is that in any type of situation, the first thing you want to do is pray. Pray. And it doesn't have to be some type of extravagant prayer. It doesn't have to be some type of extravagant prayer. Once again, I told you, I never knew how to pray. I didn't learn how to pray until I moved out to Oklahoma. And so what happened was I would just pray, and then I would immediately try to do the assignment myself. I would try. And somewhere along on that journey, it could have been that night, it could have been the next day, it could have been the day after that. But somewhere along on that journey, and sometimes it was immediate, right after I would pray, somewhere along on that journey, somebody would come and help me out. I'm not saying that will happen all the time in your situation, but what happens is that when he comes through for you every single time that you pray, you begin to develop your faith. Your faith is strengthened, right? And you no longer you no longer continue to rely on yourself to get something done, right? He may come in and teach you. He may come in and rectify the situation entirely. He may come in and literally do the assignment for you through somebody else. I know this sounds really stupid, but I'm telling you the truth. He will come in and take care of everything. And through that process, if you allow yourself to go through it, you will develop that trust. You will develop that trust, and not only your trust, you will develop your faith. And then when tougher situations come, it doesn't even faze you. Doesn't even faze you, simply because you know you have seen him work. It's not just knowledge at that point. It's not just words on a page in the Bible. It's experiential knowledge of God, right? And perfect example, take an axe. So when you pray, don't just pray one time. Continue praying over and over. Small prayers over and over and over again. Lord, please help me. Lord, send me help. Lord, I need help with this assignment. Over and over in your head, with your mouth, however you want to pray. Pray and just keep going. Keep trying. Keep trying. And he'll step in. He will step in every time, because he's never let me down, and he is no respecter of persons. So I know that he will do it for you too. So, perfect example is like a lumberjack, right? When they're trying to knock down a tree, they don't just swing the axe one time and just like, oh, okay, well, that's it, bye. No, player. They will continue hitting that tree until it's knocked down. I'll give you an example. This is when I really understood what the Lord meant when he says, knock and the door will be open unto you, right? Seek and you will find. So there was one time I was 16, and man, I used to be so shy, man. I used to be so shy. And my dad was just like this stern guy. I mean, just like, just straight down to the business, pretty blunt, honest. I mean, he's a lot more gentle now. But I mean, back then, he just, he's a very strong guy, And so I needed something out of their bedroom, and we were getting ready for church. And so, I just kind of knocked on the door. Barely knocked, just kind of whatever. And I was standing there for a couple minutes because I was knocking like I barely wanted something, And he came to the door. He barely heard it. He was like, open up the door. He said, were you knocking? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, knock like you want something. And so I give that same advice to you. Knock like you want something. Continue knocking. Continue knocking. Not like you're desperate. Because at that moment, you are. Whether you want to realize it or not. So whatever power you think you have outside of God, you don't. You don't. You have what the Lord has given you. So yes, you are mighty through the Lord. But if you're thinking that you have that power on your own, you don't. And then the second thing is literally just moving forward without God. Moving forward without God. Yes, we'll have some level of success. We'll have some level of success, right? You already don't trust him, but now it's almost like you're making yourself your own individual God. You see what I'm saying? You give yourself your own credit. Oh, I did this. I did that. I work hard, so I do this. You see what I'm saying? This is my success. Blase, blase, blase. A lot of us begin to find ourselves so high and mighty within our own specific little identities of the things that we do, right? Or not identities, but I mean titles, right? When you ask someone, oh, hey, what do you do? Or who are you? Ask them who they are. Specifically, they jump to their titles. Oh, well, I'm a web infrastructure analyst at a Fortune 500 company, and I do this, and I'm a bodybuilder, and I make all of this money, and I do all of this, and I have this car, and I have that car, I have 5 kids, and I have, and the list goes on, talking about this little stupid American dream, right? Let me tell you something. That's not who you are. That's what you do. But who are you? Who are you? Who are you? You are not your titles. You are not your titles. And developing that relationship with the Lord, trusting in the Lord, and developing that faith within the Lord by taking baby steps, not only will you not worry, but you'll begin to learn who you are by learning first who he is. Not just by knowledge, not just by book knowledge, not just by going to school to be a pastor or a preacher or to talk about the word. Yeah, those are great things, but having experiential knowledge of God releases the power of God. The Lord said that we have defeated the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the power of our testimony. So our testimonies have power. Open yourself up to testimonies by moving in little baby steps of faith. And this is how you move without worry. So once again, just pray and walk, and he'll take care of all of the rest. Be blessed.